Good morning, everybody. I'm a crusty old fart. Luke and I understand the time inside and what that does to you, and how happy we are to see that someone's pulling their head out of their ass in Washington and trying to fix this problem. Anyway, my story today comes out of JD Supra, their Cannabis and the Law section, and the headline is Cannabis Brands Beware. Branding white labeling in New York requires application submittal by December 18th, 2023. And John Scheuer interviewed a guy named John Kagia, who's the policy director of the Office of Cannabis Management, or whatever the acronym means in New York, about this particular issue. And it seems that they've been flooded with brands from out of state. Shock. The trap always wins, you know. So what it looks like, they say they've been signaling for a while, and now what they're going to do is they're going to require everybody who has a brand in the market in New York to apply for at least a Tier 3 processor license. Now, New York calls manufacturers of the product processors. California, we call them manufacturers. We have 4 tiers, they have 3. But in New York, Tier 1 gets to extract, infuse, package, okay, and sell on into the market. I don't think they get to dispense, but that's a whole other issue. Their Tier 2 gets to infuse, package, and sell into the market. And their Tier 3 gets to package and then sell brands into the market. And what New York has done is it looks like they changed their enabling statutes here to require that anybody who's going to have a brand on a shelf in a legal store in New York is going to have that brand have a Tier 3 at a minimum processor license. Now, I think what they're recognizing is that the brands are going to dump the market, and if you try to get them into these legal shelves, what we've traditionally done is just white label. Someone can come in, hey, I've got a brand that I own, I want to white label it. They never have to be checked out by the market. I mean, not market, but by the people who issue these permits and these licenses. So what we found here in California is there's a lot of people that are doing this, that if you were to scratch and sniff, they would never qualify to be able to get one of these licenses. What looks like what New York's trying to do is to force people to walk through the metal detector and figure out, okay, are you guys somebody we don't want to have involved in this market that's selling these brands? That opens up lots of cans of worms, but it seems that New York is beginning to understand that if you don't at least look for the way that these brands are getting into the marketplace and see what you can do to try and, I guess control is the right word, that this continues to be out of control. This only addresses the legal market. Doesn't have anything, as far as I can tell, directed towards the trap market. I think that's going to continue to be an issue for them, because the trap's going to be able to sell these brands manufactured in California or whatever cheaper in their trap shops than these legal stores are going to be able to sell these branded products that jump through all the hoops in their store. So the unintended consequences are going to continue the trap going. It looks like they're it's playing whack-a-mole, or what I call squeezing a balloon. You squeeze it one place, it pops out someplace else. So I don't know if I'm going to applaud this, but they're recognizing that there are control checkpoints in the market. But when you go in there and put up a barrier to the entry into the legal market, it fans the flames of the trap. So I don't know if I want to applaud this. It's just something that's actually happening. Be warned, if you don't have these applications in by the 18th, which, what is that, this weekend?
Yeah.
If you don't have them in, then you're shit out of luck. If your brand's on a legal store and you don't have one of these in the pipeline, I don't know what their recall mechanisms are, but the government can be real crazy when they come in to take your shit off the shelves. So be warned, and I'll throw it back at you guys. What do you think? This thing is going to work or not?
I mean, go ahead.
I personally think this is just another cash grab, the same way that we have, like Jason, like you mentioned earlier, inflated excise taxes in states so that the government can get their nut at every piece of the supply chain. From my perspective, this is basically saying if you want to be a brand participating in the market, you have to go through some form of background check. So either you got to get partnered into a license as an owner, at which point you're going through the state's background check process, or you have to get your own license. And like you said, the unintended consequences of that is that brands are going to make it to market one way or another. So they're really just perpetuating or creating an avenue to perpetuate the illicit market. And it's a bit respectfully to John Cagia, as a friend of mine. I've known him for years. They're doing the best they can in New York, but I'm not a fan of this law at all.
I mean, this is just absolutely asinine. Okay, they're gonna go and pull product off the shelf that is 2 years old flower that people actually went and has paid an exorbitant number to purchase to get onto the legal market, when all they had to do was just throw some fresh weed into a bag and go and sell it to a bodega, and they would have been probably way more flush on the coin. This is
and all the product safety is going through the licensed producer anyway, right? So if they did a traditional white label arrangement, the person that's producing the product is already addressing any public safety issue that the government might have. So I don't, other than getting a little bit of extra money from an application, I don't see what the purpose of this law is.
They're going after the people that are involved in these brands. They want to look up everybody's skirt and then stick a microscope up your ass. I mean, I call it walking through the fucking metal detector. Okay, they want to know who's involved with this. And they're so worried about this. This is why when you have the cops involved in this too much, nothing gets done. The trap just wins, because the cops want you to not only jump through hoops, crawl through fucking tunnels, okay, to get to where they can watch you and not a gram gets out. It's like, this is not that dangerous. You know, why in the hell are we continuing to do this? Because the trap just goes, yeah, man, I'll sell Stizzy on my shelf.
Yep.
Oh, man. We just talked about that yesterday, Dale.
Well, it's the real deal. I mean, we tell the trap always wins. And when you look at this market, I get tired of yelling at both conservatives and liberals about this. Like, if you tax and regulate the shit out of a business, it's never going to be successful. And that's exactly what both sides want to do here. I applaud the Republicans. Go, let's make it clean and safe. Throw it in with ATF. They know how to fucking tax the shit out of something, send it across state lines. If I can't sell alcohol in Mississippi, I can damn sure drive my 18-wheeler through there.
That's right.
So
it's not
do you know what the policy is in the alcohol industry when someone comes and hires a manufacturer to make their line for them?
My family did this, okay? We would call up a distributor, okay, and say, who are you using that's making bourbon? You had a private label bourbon. And we then would get directed to a distillery in Kentucky. We'd place an order. It would then send to a distributor, put the tax stamp on it, it got shipped to us, and it was our alcohol. That's how it worked. Clean and simple. The federal government got their tax, it came across the country, delivered to us, and boom, bing, bang. Win for everybody. None of this horse shit we deal with now.
Facts. And on that,
you're talking about some radicalness, Dale, of things being treated like a regular commodity. You anarchist.
Blasphemy, right?
I mean, New York just keeps on making more of a joke and more of a joke of their market every single day, and they're never going to have an actual regulated marketplace. The trap is going to live forever there, and that's just going to be what it is. And so, honestly,
we're the birthplace of the speakeasy.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And I'm with you, Luke. I want all of us to get our fucking records cleaned. I want to be able to get a gun again. God damn it.
Right.
You know, this is nuts with all of us.
It should be able to.
And on that, we got to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.